Right, so I want to let you in on a little secret here. I've been training guys for over 5 years now, both on the gym floor and online. One of the biggest things that is holding them back is something that they probably don't realize. As humans, we're always taught that more is better, right? And that when you do more of something, you're going to get better results. And this is pretty true for almost everything. But when it comes to training and building muscle in the gym, doing less can actually help you more. And in this video, I'm going to explain why. Right, so let's get into it then. So train less to grow faster is what we're going to be talking about today. Is like, how much do I actually need to do? And the thing I want to bring up now is something called diminishing returns, right? And the law of diminishing returns. And this is really going to help you determine how much you should be training anyway, right? And how much is going to be too much for you, how much is going to be enough for you, how much you should be doing if you want to get results, okay? And the law of the diminishing returns, can't even say it, it kind of goes something like this little diagram to show you here. Now we want to kind of tweak this a little bit. It says total output coming up on this side, and at the bottom it's got total input, right? So we want to kind of flip the script here. So when we're looking at training, when we're looking at your lifting weights in the gym, when you're trying to build muscle, at the bottom we want to have amount of times trained per week, right? And then on the top, this is going to be how productive your sessions are going to be for results, right? And when you look at this curve, what happens is the first bit, so the first amount when you start training, and this is going to be for around 3 to 4 sessions a week in the gym, you're going to get the maximum return on your productivity, right? You're going to get the maximum return on your sessions in this first, 3 to 4 sessions. Not necessarily like I'm going to do 3 to 4 sessions and they're going to be the best sessions and anything more than that is less. But if you're training 3 to 4 times a week, you're getting a good return on the work that you're doing, right? Then after that, if you want to start training 4 to 6 times a week, then you're still going to get a return, still going to be beneficial, but not as much, okay? The results start to diminish, right? So you'll still get results, but maybe not just as much, okay? So in essence, 3 to 4 times a week is going to be your kind of efficient amount, and then 5, 6 times a week is going to be better than 3 to 4 times a week, but not at the same scale, okay, if that makes sense. And then anything after that, if you're training 7 times a week, 8 times a week, which none of you should be doing that, and I think everybody knows that's stupid, then the rate of returns is going to drop right off, okay? So if that makes sense to you, there is going to be an amount of times that you train a week, which is going to give you a certain amount of productivity from your sessions. Then doing any more than that, you're going to get more gains, but it's going to flatten off a little bit. Then anything more than that, it's going to fall off a cliff, right? Okay, so if you're training 3 to 4 times a week, you're getting good results on your training, good returns on your training. If you're training 5 to 6 times a week, you're getting better than the 3 to 4 times, but not at the same rate. It starts to flatten off a little bit, but you're still getting better returns. And then if you're training 7 times a week, which nobody should be doing, that's when it starts to become a little bit pointless, okay? So based on this, in the gym, like I've said to here, 3 to 4 times a week productive, 5 to 6 times a week diminishing returns, 7 times a week negative returns, okay? Based on this is how you want to kind of look at your gym sessions and how many times you train a week. But this won't matter with one thing in place. And this is the part where what we need to consider. And this is where it's going to differ from person to person, how much you should be training and whether doing more for you is actually going to be better or whether doing more for you is going to be worse, okay? And that one thing that you really need to pay attention to is quite simple. It's how consistent you can be, right? Now, I work with guys living in the city, all right? They have fast-paced lives. This city life is fast-paced, a lot going on. They work long hours, they have busy careers, office jobs, corporate jobs, long working hours, stressful jobs. They don't have much free time to themselves as well. you know? So, you know, they get home from, they go to work in the morning, they get home in the evening, they might have plans, they might have social events, they might have work events, they don't have that much time to themselves, right? So you have to look at this and you have to look at your own life and then consider, well, how consistent can you be? Because if you can't be consistent with the amount of times you train, there is literally no point, right? You're not going to be able to get any sort of result if you can't be consistent. That's going to be the first thing, okay? Now, most people, most of the guys I work with, they'll fall into this category, right? 3 to 4 times a week. That's going to be pretty ideal for most people, okay? You'll get productive returns and good returns on the amount of training you're doing per week. It doesn't take away all of your free time, so you're not in the gym constantly, grinding away, grafting away. 3 to 4 times a week should be manageable for most people. And more importantly, it's going to be easier for you to stay consistent, right? Because of this, because you're not spending all your free time in the gym. You're not having to do 6, 7 sessions a week. You're going to get good returns on your 3 to 4 times a week. It's not going to take away your free time. It's going to be easier to stay consistent with. This is the sweet spot for most people. Now, if you try to bump this up to 5 to 6 times a week, then you might see your consistency dip. You might find yourself missing sessions. You might find yourself not being able to stick with your training program as well, which is obviously a big red flag, right? But secondly, if you do try and go 5 to 6 times a week, then the rate of your productive returns will go down, okay? It won't go down, but it will flatten out. So doing the extra sessions isn't going to give you that much extra benefit, is it? It's going to start to flatten out. Okay, so based on that, you're going to get less bang for your buck, okay, doing 5 to 6 compared to 3 to 4 for most people, okay? Now, the exceptions to this, and the people who I'd say are exceptions, would be, one, if you absolutely love the gym, you love training in the gym, it's a hobby, you want to go more, great. If you're an intermediate to advanced lifter, you might need that extra training stimulus, you might need that extra volume to help you progress. And if you have more free time to commit, then of course, like we say, you're going to get slightly more returns doing 5 to 6 sessions a week than you will do doing 3 to 4, right? So if you're this person, if you want to go to the gym more, then that's better, you know? You can find most bodybuilders, people who do this to an advanced level, they're going to be training 4 to 6 times a week in the gym, okay? You can maximize the training results that you're getting. You're going to be confident that you're going to stay consistent. And also you're in the gym more because you love it, right? Which is a win, okay? And that's what we want to consider here. So sometimes when you look at your training, doing more isn't necessarily going to be better for you. It might be for some people, it might not be for others. So doing more and more and more and more and more doesn't mean you're just going to get bigger and bigger and bigger. No, you want to look at your lifestyle, you want to look at your work balance, you want to look at how consistent you can be. You want to look at your level in the gym and your experience, and based on these, you want to kind of pick a good amount of times a week to aim to train for, right? Any more than that is not going to be productive for you, okay? Remember, we want to kind of pick an amount that's going to give you the best returns based on your life and that you can stay the most consistent with. Hope this all makes sense. So yeah, hope you found this useful. Hope you can realize that sometimes more is not better, especially when it comes to the gym. Really, on my experience, what you want to be doing is picking the amount you can stay consistent with, okay? Not 1 to 2 times, you want to be picking 3 to 4 times a week in the gym, if you can stay consistent with that. If you want to do a little bit more, you love the gym, you've got the free time, then 5 to 6 times is better as well, okay? Hope this helps. I'm gonna leave some more content up at the top if you wanna watch it. If you've not subscribed to the page already, drop me a subscribe. It would be massively appreciated. And hopefully I'll see you in the next video.